one of the most glorious tanks I have ever seen. I'm looking at the stuff here in front of me, and uh, the team's overall batting average is 203. Their overall team ERA is 6.86. I cannot fathom a team this awful. Not even the Marlins. I cheer for the Marlins, everybody. Not even the Marlins have had a team that was this awful. Sure, we've had a few that have lost 100 games, but these Reds are impressively bad. Impressively bad. And I know that yes, it's been 1 month into the season, and maybe things will even out, right? It always seems like, well, we're always on the cusp of a team that is so bad that they might reach historic levels of bad, but a lot of the times they sort of even out, and you would think, okay, well, then that's what will happen with the Reds. They'll get on a bit of a hot streak. They'll face some teams that are around their level, some of the lower levels in their uh, around their range, right? They play in the National League Central. They'll get matched up against some team like the Pirates, right? They're guaranteed to play a lot of games against the Pirates, but even then, the Reds are not guaranteed to do well. So we're gonna scroll up here, and I'm gonna show you what I've got above me. So let's go on over to the scores and schedules. How did we get here with the Cincinnati Reds? So their upcoming schedule, lo and behold, they're facing the Pittsburgh Pirates, a 4-game series coming up this weekend. They've got a doubleheader on Saturday. So usually a doubleheader, I think most teams pick up at least one. Sometimes you get a doubleheader sweep every now and then. Sometimes you get swept. But you would think the Reds would be able to get one here, but they opened their season against let's see, let's start from the beginning. It's the defending champion Atlanta Braves. Okay, but hey, look, it's not so bad, right? They got they two and two, a 4-game series against Atlanta, 2-2 to start. All right, that's good. All right, then head back home, home opener against Cleveland, your cross state rivals, right? Some big games, but nope, nope, nope. And as you start to see, here's a massive problem for the Reds is that their pitching staff is truly, truly bad. Against the Braves, 6-3 victory, but then the next night, 6-7 loss. So they gave up 7 runs. Then the next one, okay, a good game by the pitching staff, 2-1 loss, right? You can nothing to be ashamed about there. And then 6-3, your offense put up some numbers, but then you head back home, and the Cleveland Indians, or gosh, the Guardians, I'm sorry, the Cleveland Guardians put up a 10 spot. Oof. Then the next night, Cleveland, 7. All right. Then you trek out to Los Angeles. And look, the schedule for Cincinnati was tough at the beginning of the season. In fact, it's been really tough this season. And I think you'll start to see they started with the defending champion Atlanta Braves. Then Cleveland. All right, Cleveland is in the American League Central. I've said this on the show, very winnable division for any of the teams there. Any of those teams get hot, and it's very quite possible that they can take the division by having just one really, really good month. Not an okay month where, okay, a couple games above 500. I'm talking about like a really good month, and you could probably take that division. But then they head on over to Los Angeles. Dodgers, and they put the pitching staff gives up 9 runs, just 9 runs. You see where I'm going with this right now. You see where it's headed. It's not good. It's not heading to a good place. I'm telling you that much. All right. So then 1-3. another loss. Then 2-5, 5 runs, not good. Then 1-9, not good, not good at all. So it's a 4-game sweep out at Dodger Stadium. Then next, San Diego. Padres have a lot to prove. They choked away their season last year. Okay, 1-4. Ugh, not great, but 4 runs relative what the pitching staff has done before. Sure, that's fine. But then 6 runs given up, 2-6 loss. Then another 6 runs given up. And I'm not saying that the offense itself is not culprit here. They're hitting what was it? They're hitting 203 batting average for the season, but even when they did try to put up some runs, they lost 5-10. They put up 5 runs here. They put up 6 runs in the second game of the season. So it's not like they haven't tried, but nothing is working in Cincinnati. That's and I shouldn't put it all on the pitching staff, but it's pretty daunting for your hitting core to see that, we got to put up at least 5 runs to try and at least get a shot at winning. So 3-game sweep out in San Diego, and they're gone. They head on back home to St. Louis to face St. Louis, the Cardinals, and 2-4 loss. Then 5-0 loss. I mean, the offense is anemic. There's a few shutouts here already. It's starting to build up here. Well, actually, surprisingly, they've been able to muster up at least a run, but they've got 2 shutouts at this point. Then finally they put up another victory, 4-1 victory against St. Louis. Okay, we're starting to feel good. We're 10 games under 500, but okay, we got one. All right, let's go. Oh, here comes San Diego again, who thoroughly spanked you back in California. Well, they're back, and now they're ready to spank you some more. However, things are a little bit different because the offense finally shows up for the Reds. But pitching staff, and this is why I was saying, well, I can't put it all on the pitching staff. However, I think the pitching staff is the main culprit as to why they're so awful. Because the offense finally shows up against San Diego, and they put up 6 runs, but then the Padres are up 9-6. Next night, put up 5 runs, 8-5 loss. 5 runs again by the offense, 7-5 loss. It's just a daunting mountain to climb. Then, if it wasn't bad enough, their opening schedule is really hard, and that's why I say maybe they'll, once they start facing some teams that are within their range, they'll start to knock out some victories. But the opening schedule for the Reds has been really hard. So then they head on over to Colorado, notoriously awful for pitchers, even with the humidors and the heightened walls and massive outfield space, and 10 runs given up. Oof. Then, a close 3-4 loss. And then another 10 runs given up. Head on up to Milwaukee. Brewers are a good team. They're going to be fighting for the NL Central this year. 3-6 loss. Then, and now we're getting to ridiculous territory. Then a 4-18 loss, and then a 5-10 loss. The Reds are really bad. They're just a really awful team. They've given up double-digit runs. Let me see. In their first 25 games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. 5 times they've given up double-digit runs to the opposing team. And opponents, defending world champions, then wild card team last season, but Dodgers would probably win the division if they were in any other division, and of course won the World Series in 2020, 2 years ago. Padres got a chip on their shoulders, of course, and are still a good team. Cardinals, yeah, always NL Central Division winning threat right there. Padres again. Then the Rockies, who've had a great month to start the season. Right, so the Rockies are starting out with a winning record. All the teams in the NL West are at least 500. And then Milwaukee, who leads the NL Central right now. And thanks to the Reds, they're leading by 3 games over the Cardinals. Why? This 3-game sweep against Cincinnati. So the Reds are definitely going to post up a lot for and factor in for the Brewers and the Cardinals. The Cardinals made the awful mistake of losing to them once, while the Brewers swept them. And this 4-game series against Pittsburgh, it's the chance for the Reds to put in a dent on this and not become the 1962 New York Mets, or worse, not set a new modern day Major League record for losses in a season. But then they'll get Milwaukee again at home, and it doesn't look good. Those are the upcoming games for Cincinnati. Let me see if there's any more stats that we can see here. So here's all of their team ranks with regards to Major League Baseball. They're 27th in runs scored, not good. They're 29th in amount of hits, 162 hits so far. They're 29th right there. 20th in doubles, 21st in triples, 24th in home runs, and they play in a hitter-friendly ballpark whose park factor, I believe, was number 1 in Major League Baseball last season. So it's the most hitter-friendly ballpark in the majors, which does not bode well for the pitching because the pitching is awful, but their hitters need to step up. 24th in home runs, 27th in RBI, 27th in walks, so they're not doing good. 15th in hit by pitches, 25th in strikeouts, so they're swinging and missing a lot, and they're not seeing the ball really well. 25th in stolen bases, yeah, they can barely get anybody on base, so how are they going to raise that? 10th in caught stealing, and that makes sense. That makes sense that they're 10th in caught stealing. Because, and I'm sure there's not as much stealing in baseball, but hopefully that'll change soon enough. But I could see why they would be in a very high on the list for that, because they have so few chances to score runs that they really need to find ways to manufacture runs outside of the box, just small ball, bunting guys over. They have to play very aggressively, and they really need to know when to play conservatively. It's not a good situation. 29th in batting average. I don't know who's worse than them, because yikes, who is worse than the Cincinnati Reds in batting average? I'm not sure. Can't be the Marlins. The Marlins have actually been scoring runs lately, and we're second place in the NL East. We're on a 4-game losing streak though, so that's not good. Anyways, let's 30th in on base percentage. Makes a ton of sense. Look at those walks. Look at those strikeouts. Look at the lack of hits. That makes a ton of sense. And of course, 28th in slugging. And I mean, you look at the amount of home runs and triples and doubles that they have. So that makes a ton of sense. But here's why I kept putting it on the pitching. Look at the pitching stats for the Reds. Of course, win-loss, they're last place. They're the worst team in baseball. That ERA, though, 6.86. That is the worst in the league right now. let's see, 25 games. There's definitely no complete games. There's definitely no shutouts. 28th in saves, of course. There's only been 3 chances for save opportunities. Innings pitched, okay, whatever. 28th in hits allowed. Yeah, they're giving up a ton of hits. Look at the earned runs. 30th. They're giving up the most runs in baseball. The most home runs in baseball, 34 home runs allowed, 120 walks, 19 hit by pitches, and they're 17th in strikeouts. That's really the only quality that they have, and even then it's below average. And here we are with who is on this team. Let me see. Who let's see. And there's going to be a lot of guys that I don't know, and but yeah, let's see. Who we got? Kyle Farmer, he's hitting 221. Tommy Pham's on this team. Yeah, okay. He's hitting 247. Joey Votto, who I don't know who wants him. He can't be ring chasing because nobody would want him and take that money unless the Reds agree to pay it, which, knowing the Cincinnati Reds and the way that they are hating on their ownership, I doubt that they would trade Votto and be willing to pay his contract, or at least half of it, so that another team could take that on, unless and see if he blossoms within a winning culture, unless they get some pretty decent prospects for it where they're like, you know what, this is worth it. But outside of that, he's not worth much at all. Brandon Drury, Tyler Nakin, Mike Moustakas, hitting 241. These are some names that, yeah, probably in 2015 you'd want these guys on your team. But Nick Senzel, who 192, Colin Moran 190, Jake Fraley 116. Their only redeeming player I would say is Jonathan India, defending NL Rookie of the Year. He's hitting 295 to start. Let's see some other guys here. Tyler Stevenson, Aristides Aquino is 049. Yikes. Yeah, and it just gets worse from there. Some guys who've only had like one game, few games here. And then the pitching staff. I mean, who's got the worst ERA here? River San Martin, 13.78 ERA. Ooh, Lucas Sims has a 15.75 right there. Matt Reynolds, he's doing great. He's got a 0 ERA, but he's a position player. He's the best pitcher on the team. Connor Overton, he's got a very nice 1.69 ERA with one appearance and was it at 5.1 innings pitched. So there you go. There's a guy. There's one guy there. Matt Reynolds faced, let's see, how many batters did he face? I'm trying to see. He had a .1 innings pitched, gave up 2 hits, and still has a 0 ERA. So that's funny. And who's the guy that started the most games? So Tyler Mahle, I'm not sure. He's got a 7 ERA. And yeah, this is not good. These are just standard stats. I'm not even looking at anything advanced. These are just the normal box score stuff. Let me look at that roster. Let's see. Oh, guy from Hialeah. Look at that. Nice. Another guy from Hialeah. They got 2 guys from Hialeah on the Reds. That's interesting. Okay. Another guy from... Oh, yeah, Jonathan Diaz from here. That's right. Coral Springs. Mark Carlos from Tavares, Florida. Okay. I got a few guys. All right. Unfortunately, they play for the Reds right now. That's not good. And let's see. Look at their overall splits. And this is all batting. I'm trying to find a way to see if I can look at pitching. Can I do that? Here we go. That's how you do it. There we go. Okay, so we can look at the splits right now. Home road splits. I mean, the batting is look slightly better at home. Once again, hitter's ballpark, but not great. Not great at all. And look at that month of April. Just not good. And they're not doing well against anybody. They've only played 2 games against an American League team. And with the look at the opponents thus far against their own division, which is where teams are going to feast. And really, they only stand a chance to beat the Pirates or the Cubs, the way things are going. But the Brewers with that 3-game sweep, and yeah, they were hitting. Let me look at the pitching against Milwaukee. So the pitching against Milwaukee. Let's see. That's 24 innings pitched, 35 hits a lot. And this is a 3-game series, by the way. In a 3-game series, they gave up 35 hits, 33 earned runs. So dear Lord, their earned run average against Milwaukee was 12.38. They gave up 33 earned runs, 34 runs total. So yes. So yeah, that's bad. They gave up 11 home runs in a 3-game series. 16 walks. That's a lot, man. They're walking so many guys. That pitching staff has no control whatsoever. It's bad. It's bad out in Cincinnati, folks. This is one of the truly glorious tanks that I've ever seen. Now, baseball has a draft lottery now, so they're not even guaranteed to get the number 1 pick come the draft next year. That's really awful. So I'm going to go down the list here. So of the worst records in baseball history. So the most losses in a season belong to the 1962 New York Mets. They went 40 and 120 with a 250 winning percentage. They were 60 and a half games back for the National League pennant that year. The worst overall, I guess, winning percentage wise in modern baseball history belongs to the 1916 Philadelphia A's, who went 36 and 117 with a 235 win percentage, 54 and a half games back. And the worst in the National League belonged to the Boston Braves, who had a 248 winning percentage, went 38 and 115, 61 and a half games back. And the worst one in recent times, the Tigers have come close in recent times. In 2003, they went 43 and 119, 265 winning percentage. And then the Detroit Tigers of 2019 had 114 losses, 291 winning percentage. The Baltimore Orioles had 115 losses in 2018. So, yeah, there's some truly awful teams here. I don't see the Marlins on the list, so that's one thing that we can sort of hang our hats on, I guess. That the Marlins have never had a team that awful. We've had teams that have lost 100 games, yes, but not this awful. Not to this point. Yeah. Let's see. Other teams. Let me see. And then they have a bunch of other weird teams from like the 1800s and what have you. The 1898 St. Louis Browns. The Cleveland Spiders were the worst team ever. They They went 20 and 134, which was a 130 winning percentage. So that was that. And yeah, those are the Cincinnati Reds. That's it, folks. So I guess thank you for joining me in this sort of mini episode of Sports Goofs. You can, of course, listen to us, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and TikTok. We're all over the place. You can watch us on Twitch, some of our old episodes on Twitch or YouTube, and plenty of other social media sites. And, of course, listen to the podcast version, the audio version of this show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, and Overcast, which is my personal favorite podcast app. And yep, see if I do another one of these some other time. But I just really want to talk about the Cincinnati Reds this time because I feel like I may not have been able to cover this on the show from the past show, episode 138. I forgot to mention them, but maybe I'll mention them next episode because maybe this gets a lot worse, and maybe the Reds start trending towards that worst ever modern day baseball record. It would be truly something. I would revere it just as much as 0-16 from the Lions and the Browns. I would. I'd remember that, or the New Jersey Nets from, I don't know, maybe like 13, 14 years prior to this. They were really awful. I think the NHL hasn't had a truly awful team probably since like the Ottawa Senators back when they started out in the early 90s. They really committed to the tank for sure to get some top picks and try and build their franchise. All right, well, I'm done. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.